The boy sat in silence, his face framed by the soft glow of a desk lamp. Pieces of a chessboard lay scattered across the table, knights and pawns forming a battlefield only he could fully see. Demis Hassabis was 10 years old, but already he thought like a strategist twice his age. While other children spent afternoons glued to cartoons, Demis mapped possibilities, memorized openings, and practiced against older, stronger opponents. He was a child of London, born to a Greek Cypriot father and a Singaporean mother, but in his mind, he lived in 1,000 other worlds. The square universe of chess, the digital landscapes of early computers, and later, the unexplored terrain of human intelligence itself. By the time he was a teenager, he was ranked among the world's top chess players in his age group. By 17, he was coding video games at Bullfrog Productions, crafting worlds for millions of players. But chess and games were only shadows of a deeper question that nagged at him. What makes intelligence? That question would guide his life and ultimately reshape the direction of one of the world's largest companies. The story of DeepMind does not begin with venture capital, nor with a shiny office in London's King's Cross. It begins with a restlessness. In the late 1990s, Demis Hassabis had helped design hit video games like Theme Park and Black and White. He could have built a fortune in the gaming industry. But games were puzzles with limits, their rules written in advance. He wanted to solve the puzzle with no boundaries, the puzzle of the human brain. So he left games behind and pursued neuroscience. At University College London, he studied memory, imagination, and the fragile architectures of the mind. He co-authored influential papers on how humans recall experiences, arguing that imagination itself was rooted in memory systems. But as fascinating as neuroscience was, the laboratory felt too slow, too cautious. If he truly wanted to answer the question of intelligence, he would need to build it. 2010, London. The office was cramped, perched above a bakery whose ovens sent the sweet, distracting smell of bread upstairs each morning. There, with Shane Legg and Mustafa Suleiman, Hassabis founded DeepMind Technologies. They weren't chasing mobile apps or social networks. They wanted to create machines that could learn, not just memorize patterns, but think. They called it Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI. In an era still skeptical of AI, their ambition sounded outrageous. The AI winters of the 80s and 90s had left scars. Many believed the field was little more than a graveyard of hype. But Demis believed the time was ripe. Advances in deep learning, neural networks stacked in layers like the cortex itself, hinted that machines might finally learn from data the way brains did. The team worked long nights, surrounded by whiteboards scribbled with equations and diagrams. They trained algorithms to master Atari games from scratch, with no human guidance. Slowly, eerily, the machines learned. First they flailed, then they imitated, and then, sometimes, they surpassed human players. The bakery below sold bread. Above it, 3 men baked the future. By 2013, whispers of DeepMind spread through Silicon Valley. Their demos astonished researchers. An AI playing Atari's Breakout could, without being told strategy, discover the trick of tunneling through bricks, an emergent intelligence. That winter, tech giants circled. Facebook wanted them. So did Microsoft. But it was Google that made the decisive move. Larry Page, obsessed with AI's potential, dispatched emissaries. Google's pitch was simple. Join us, and you'll have nearly unlimited compute, capital, and data. In January 2014, the deal closed. Google acquired DeepMind for a reported $500 million, one of the most significant AI acquisitions in history. Overnight, Demis Hassabis became wealthy, and his tiny office above the bakery transformed into a jewel within the crown of one of the world's most powerful corporations. But Demis had negotiated fiercely. He demanded that DeepMind retain a degree of independence, and that Google establish an internal ethics board for AI. Even then, he feared the immense power they were unlocking. If DeepMind had remained only a research lab, Hassabis' name might never have reached the world stage. But in 2016, one project changed everything. For centuries, the game of Go had been a symbol of human intuition. Unlike chess, its branching possibilities were astronomical, more moves than atoms in the universe. AI researchers long assumed it was beyond machines. DeepMind disagreed. Their program, AlphaGo, combined deep learning with Monte Carlo tree search. It studied millions of positions, then taught itself by playing endless games. The system grew not just strong, but eerily creative. In March 2016, AlphaGo faced Lee Sedol, a legendary Go champion. Millions watched online as man confronted machine. The world gasped when AlphaGo played Move 37, an unconventional placement on the fifth line that no human pro would dare. Commentators called it divine. Lee Sedol, stunned, left the room for nearly 15 minutes. When he returned, he was shaken. The machine had not only matched him, it had outthought him. AlphaGo won the match 4-1. The age-old hierarchy shifted. For the first time, humanity saw that even in the realm of intuition and creativity, machines could prevail. For Hassabis, it was vindication. The dream that began with chess had now conquered Go. But with victory came responsibility. If machines could master games, what else could they master? As DeepMind flourished, Google transformed too. Its parent company, Alphabet, poured resources into AI, weaving it into every product: search, translation, speech recognition. DeepMind's research influenced everything from healthcare to energy optimization. But tensions simmered. Google's business interests sometimes clashed with DeepMind's ethical concerns. Reports emerged of disputes over whether medical data projects were sufficiently transparent or whether AI should be deployed for military contracts. Hassabis often positioned himself as the conscience, reminding colleagues of their founding mission: to ensure AI benefits humanity. Meanwhile, his personal stature grew. Once a chess prodigy, now he was an AI pioneer courted by world leaders. He briefed prime ministers, appeared on magazine covers, and became one of the defining voices of the AI revolution. And through it all, he remained measured, cautious, even soft-spoken. Where others shouted about disruption, Demis talked about safety. Where Silicon Valley glorified speed, he invoked patience. He seemed to sense the enormity of the forces at play. The Google acquisition made Demis Hassabis rich, but money was never the point. His true wealth lay in influence, the ability to shape not only research, but policy, ethics, and the future direction of civilization. By the early 2020s, AI entered a golden age. DeepMind unveiled AlphaFold, solving a decades-old scientific puzzle, predicting protein structures. This breakthrough promised revolutions in drug discovery and biology. Unlike AlphaGo, it was not just a victory in games, but a tool to save lives. Once again, Demis's team had shifted the frontier of knowledge. And once again, the same question loomed larger: what happens when machines grow smarter than us? For Hassabis, the journey had always been about understanding the mind. But now he faced a paradox. By building artificial minds, humanity might risk its own future. In quiet moments, Hassabis would sometimes reflect on his own life's symmetry. A childhood spent mastering chess strategies, youth devoted to designing games, a career detour into neuroscience, mapping memory and imagination. Each step was a training ground, preparing him to lead DeepMind. His biography read almost like a fable, the boy who sought to understand intelligence, and in doing so, built machines that reflected it back to us. And yet, unlike many founders, Demis avoided flamboyance. No leather jackets, no wild tweets, just a calm presence, a clear voice, and a persistent reminder: AI is not simply another technology. It is the last invention humanity may ever need to make. The alchemists of old sought to turn lead into gold. Demis Hassabis and his team at DeepMind sought something stranger: to turn code into thought. They succeeded. From a cramped office above a bakery to the heart of Google's empire, from chessboards to protein folds, Hassabis' journey was not just about wealth or prestige. It was about chasing a question that has haunted philosophers for millennia: what is intelligence? And in chasing it, he helped usher in a new epoch, one where the line between human and machine grows thinner by the day. The story of Demis Hassabis is far from over, but already he has become one of the pivotal figures of the AI revolution. A quiet boy with a chessboard grew into the man who sold his dream to Google and, in the process, altered the destiny of human knowledge. The bakery is gone, the equations remain, and somewhere in the glow of a monitor, machines keep learning, each line of code a step closer to the intelligence he has spent a lifetime seeking.